Not what we were looking for today, obviously, right? Need to coach better, need to play better, need to do everything better in all three phases. We can't take the opportunity that we had in the first half where we were in a pretty dominant position and then lose the middle eight so dramatically as we did and never get momentum back on our side. And obviously that thing ran away from us in a hurry. So got to do better leading as we go, and got to make sure that we do a great job bouncing back here so we can send these seniors out the right way as we go back home, for this last opportunity of the year at Snapdragon a week from tonight.
Coach, last week I asked you about Danny O'Neill's start. It was not the greatest at UNLV, but today he started out a lot better. What did you see from him in that regard?
Yeah, again, I thought his work ethic we talked about all year long, he's done a nice job. I think the pieces around him did a nice job settling in, opened up some running lanes. I thought the explosive run was great. He was making good decisions within the throw game and got us off to a good start. Obviously need to finish down there at the goal line, and again, that's been a Achilles heel for us to be able to punch the ball in those short yard situations. So got to do a better job there as we continue to move forward. But yeah, good start. Unfortunately, there's a whole rest of the ball game that we got to play, connect and complete as a team.
So could you talk a little bit more about that in the next three quarters? He gets just a little bit over 100 yards. You spoke about kind of that inconsistency last week where he's going really good one part of the game, but another game he's not. I guess what happened? Did Utah State do something different that prevented him from continuing that good start?
Yeah, they did a nice job playing with their pressure packages. We knew going into it we had to do a good job hanging on, and doing a good job protecting that. They did some nice looks that they hadn't presented before, which again is a variety of who they've been all year long. Each and every single week there's going to be a unique blitz menu that you got, and so again just being tied together. It's Danny and everyone playing connected together and playing cohesive and playing consistent. And far too often this year we're not doing that consistently enough, which leads to the inconsistencies in the results.
That they got a questionable touchdown on a reversal at the end of the first half, but you called a timeout prior to that. Why was there a need to call a timeout there, which effectively may have given the refs a little bit of extra time to look to see if...
Yeah, they look at every single scoring opportunity, right? And so there had been ample time for them to do that. There was 16 seconds to go in the half. We had timeouts in our pockets. The clock had stopped, and we had been bleeding yards. So obviously being there to have a chance to regroup when the clock's already stopped, it was advantageous for us to be able to come to the boundary. And as we come out of the timeout, obviously they go underneath the hood, and so, again, that's something that they control, but still feel good about that decision. It wasn't there to give them time, obviously, to do that. It was to regroup our guys so we could end that thing the right way.
And so there was no idea during that time that they could possibly make that a completion?
No, they're going to review every single play, right? And usually in those sunnings, we waited till the very last second so we could see the formation, which is usually if you're going to wait till that deep, they would stop the play. They didn't stop the play, right? They allowed us to call the timeout, and then we come out of it, and they say, hey, we're going under review, and they have the prerogative to do that.
Where would you say? They go up 14-13, and then it just kind of snowballs. I don't want to be disrespectful and talk about people quitting because that isn't the right word. But where was the effort level after that big momentum play and then into the second half, and why did it get rolling the way that it did?
Yeah, because I haven't done a good enough job teaching and instilling, the idea of competitive maturity, right? To know and understand that this game is going to have momentum swings, and that when times come like that to where we got to dig in, we can't look to someone else. We got to do our piece, we got to do our job, and we got to be the one that swings the momentum back onto our boundary and to be that spark. So I got to do a better job instilling and teaching that as we go forward, so that our guys know and understand that there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be adversity, and that we're going to do a great job digging in. We're going to continue to fight, and we're going to play all the way through so that we can get the momentum back onto our boundary.
The read option has been something that teams have found success with pretty much the whole year. Some people look at the 4-2-5 as that's kind of one of the weaknesses of that scheme.
Who says that? Who says that that's a weakness of the scheme?
Coaches that I've spoken to trying to research and understand the defense, they talk about the idea that when you have an edge rusher and they can use that to have, there's no overhang, especially on the boundary side, which prevents somebody from being able to go and play with really good leverage. But you're the expert, so correct me if I'm wrong. But the defense has had a weakness in that throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Why haven't you all been able to solve it if it's not a weakness of the defense?
Yeah, again, there's opportunities where we have players in position, and then we got to do a great job also getting the ball to the ground off of it, right? And so, again, the max splits that they use do a great job of obviously creating one-on-ones in both the throw or the pass. So you got to do a good job, in terms of how you're going to structure and how you're going to balance it. And then, again, ultimately, right, we got to do a great job of stepping up and making plays when our number's called.
And then, when you have been in those penalties, you've made a distinction between penalties that are during the play and those are more acceptable. Those you can live with because those are aggressive ones. But the penalties, a lot of false starts tonight. I mean, what happened with the penalties, and why has that kind of reared its head again?
Yeah, I mean, again, the majority of them are on the offensive line where we've been banged up. There's a lot of people that are playing in different spots as we're rolling through it. So, again, there's got to be continuity. There's got to be consistency within that group up front so that you can have confidence to play together when there's any sort of doubt because of the collection of young men that are playing together, right? It leads to hesitation. And when you're playing hesitant and you're not playing confident and you're not tied together, you're going to be a step behind. Your eyes are going to be off. And it leads to, being a half man, half behind. And then, again, being a little bit jittery in your stance as you go.
Last question for me, Coach. How would you assess kind of the morale of your team, the togetherness of your team as you go into the senior night, into the last game?
Yeah, I mean, we're tied together, right? But I'm not going to – everyone knows with the losing streak that we're on right now, no one's happy. I mean, that's pretty clear. That's pretty evident right now, right? And so, in terms of the fight and the resolve, the kids continue to fight to the very, very end, right? We got to fight better. We got to fight harder as we go forward with it. But again, we're in a good spot. No one's obviously happy about what's going on right now, obviously, and this streak that we're on. It's not the right side of things that we want to be on. But the team's tied together. We're going to fight, and we're going to finish, and we're going to send these seniors out the right way.